number 1, Brian Elliott!
What a stop by Elliott!
Oh, what a save! Call the cops! Unbelievable save there! Elliott, they call him Moose.
The Moose, a.k.a. Brian Elliott. Here's Sophia Jurksztowicz with the profiles, if I may. Brian's like a brother to me.
Explain.
A couple years ago in Barrie, Ontario, there was a charity hockey game. The Prime Minister was going to be in attendance, so security very tight. Tickets were sold out. I arrived there, took my equipment out of the car, and a man approached me and said, I can't get in. Could you allow me to ride your coattails, in a way? It was Brian's father, Bill. So I got him in, pretending to be my father. He ended up being our team's trainer. I have a great picture of Stephen Harper and I because of Bill Elliott.
So you were his son for the
But this is your segment.
Yes, well, that's still a good story. And I have another story about Brian Elliott. This one's about his nickname, Moose, as we heard. Sometimes when we think of a hockey nickname, we even joke about how stereotypical they can be. You add an ER, like Kipper, or a Y like Colby Armstrong Army, and then you have a nickname. But Brian's is the Moose, which is a little bit more creative. Some hockey fans might know that, but when I asked fans about why his nickname is Moose, a lot of them didn't know the story. So this is the story about Brian Elliott's nickname and why he's called Moose.
I think it was Chris Stewart that first called me Moose, just because, you know, waiting to go out for the game, standing behind me and seeing Mr. Moose on the back of my helmet, he started calling me Moose and kind of caught on. If I don't get tattoos on my body, I get them on my mask. So the stuff that means a lot goes on there.
If what goes on Brian's mask means a lot, and Mr. Moose is on his mask, the question, of course, is who is Mr. Moose? Mr. Moose's real name is Owen Scott, and Owen, as his nickname suggests, was, among many things, a champion moose caller. But to the Elliots, he was much more than that. One of his gestures towards them was offering up his home when Brian was just a young boy, and the one his father Bill had built wasn't ready to live in yet.
Owen, being the spectacular friend that he was, he said, rather than live in a hotel for a couple of months, why don't you just come out here to the farm? He gave us his house, and he had an RV, and he stayed in the RV for 2.5 months. That's how good a friend he was. Brian got to know him, and of course, being out in a big property like that, Owen had a ride-him lawnmower, so Brian just loved to hop on that thing and cut the grass. It's driving. What the hell?
He would let me drive the tractor around and cut the grass. Actually, I remember that at the end of the summer, there was a Dougie Gilmour signed jersey in my closet that I was always kind of fond of. And, you know, he's like, you know, for cutting my grass all summer long, you can take that jersey. And I still have it to this day, actually, in my house.
Sadly, Owen passed away in the early 2000s, long before Brian was ever in the NHL. But Owen always believed that the kid who mowed his lawn would get there. In fact, he even predicted the year that Brian would play in his first ever NHL game.
We had these calendars growing up in minor hockey. Each kid had their own page, and he had the calendar up in his garage, and he left it on my month the whole time. And when he passed away, my dad was going through his garage and trying to clean everything up and found the calendar still up there. And it said in big Sharpie writing, NHL bound 2007. And he passed away in 2003. So it was a little eerie because I played my first NHL game in 2007, got called up at the beginning of the season, and played only one game that year and played the rest in the minors. But he was probably cheering for me up there.